Hi guys, Andy here. So ZeroLemon actually contacted me, seeing if I wanted to review any of their accessories. I've heard of ZeroLemon. They are a sort of a known brand, so to speak, when it comes to battery packs that phones kind of fit into like a case. But what caught my eye on their website was this solar-powered 20,000 milliamp hour mobile battery. I have a bit of a thing about mobile batteries. I've probably got about 7 of them now, so I really should start, I don't know, giving them away, or at least, I don't know, whatever. I don't need 7, basically. But this one is the biggest one at 20,000 milliamp hours, and it has a built-in solar panel. We see here when you press the button, it lights up, at this point, 3 of the 4 lights, so I'm assuming that means it's around 75% charge. There's a micro USB on the one side, there's a little handle at the top. The micro USB obviously means that you can charge it via the micro USB should you desire. Then there's 2 USB out ports at the one end. In the pack I get a clip that can hook onto the hanger at the top there. We've got some sort of safety instructions and things from ZeroLemon. Yeah, I mean, I thought 20,000 milliamp hours and you can recharge it in the sun. How useful could that be if you were, I don't know, away camping or something like that? See, there's the cable, so you can charge it manually if you wish. I would say it takes a long time to charge manually. You need 20,000 milliamp hours. Bear in mind, you know, my Note 4 has 3,000, so this is almost 7 times as much of that. So if my Note takes even like a couple of hours to charge, this is going to take sort of 14 hours to charge on the mains from flat. So, okay, let's see first of all what happens when we stick it in the sun, I suppose. I have had another solar-powered one that basically a little light comes on when there's enough sun for it to be charging. I couldn't see anything happening when I did this. I contacted ZeroLemon and they didn't particularly answer it directly, but I don't think there is any way to know if it's charging. They did point out to me that it should only charge at about 200 milliamp hours an hour. So I thought, okay, well, let's just go ahead and plug it in, charge it up to full. So I left it charging overnight, and then we'll get testing. So I used it for a week or so to see how long it would really last. Now, although it's rated at 20,000 milliamp hours, almost no mobile battery actually gives out that much power. So if my Note 5 has 3,000, in theory, I can charge it almost 7 times from totally empty to totally full. But like I said, basically no battery can do that. There's always some loss. So I thought, you know, I need to find out what it is then, how much I really can use. So I charged my Note 5, my Nexus 6 once, my LG G4. In fact, the Note 5 I charged 6 times from kind of anywhere between 30 and 30 and 56%, as you can see. And then the other 2 got a bit of a charge as well. So I tried to sort of calculate roughly how many milliamp hours it used, and actually I only just got up over 11,000. Now there's one thing I should point out. You really, I mean, it probably comes into its own after about 3 cycles, 4 cycles maybe. I think normally batteries, they get better the more you use them initially, and obviously then they start to wear but if I waited to cycle it 3 or 4 times, I wouldn't be doing this video for a couple of months still, basically. So, interesting results. It only got to sort of 11,500 out of the 20, which isn't great, but maybe, like I say, maybe I'm a bit unfair because it's off the first charge, and maybe given a few more charges, it would stretch up to, I mean, I would have been hoping it would get to sort of 14 or 15. Like I said, none of them ever do full, you know, the whole amount, but sort of 60 or 70% would be fairly normal. So 13 or 14,000 would be good. So then I thought about, okay, I've tested how long it will last as far as charging, and I would point out actually how many charges is that? 8. So I mean that'll last you over a week, depending I suppose how much you use your phone. Most of those charges were from around the midway point, but that's a day's use for me on the Note 5 anyway. So then I moved outside with it, and I thought, okay, let's try and charge it. Now, unfortunately, the weather turned against me. And for 2 days, I had it in my car windscreen. I thought, actually, that's a good place I can leave it, sort of outdoors, in what little sun there might be, and we'll see how much it charged. But for 2 days, it was terrible weather. We never saw the sun, and on checking, it hadn't charged at all. I was still basically pretty much flat with the flashing one light. Then luckily today the sun came out. I thought, oh, right, let me test it again now. So I've put it out in the dashboard from 8 o'clock this morning to, well, no, from about 9 o'clock this morning, 8:30ish, to about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So it's sort of 7.5 hours. And the first light has gone from flashing to at least full. So it is charging at least some. And I think that would be in about alignment with what they say. So if they're saying it's 200 milliamp hours per hour, and I left it out for about 8 hours, so that's about 1,600 milliamp hours. Out of the 20,000, yeah, that's not actually going to make much of a dent. So then let's do some maths on it. Let's say we get enough sunlight for 12 hours charge a day. That means it's going to basically take just over 8 days to charge from totally empty to totally full. Now, obviously, in that time, if you started at full and you charging your device during the night, then charging during the day, that would pretty much mean, if you had strong sunlight, that this thing would probably last for several months, I suppose, which is quite impressive, really. Obviously, the problem comes if you live in the UK, we don't have that much sunlight, and actually, even if you only get a couple of days of sunlight, you're not going to charge the pack up that much, and it won't really extend it much. So whether or not this is a good battery, in some ways, could depend on where you live and if you get the sunshine. Having said that, 20,000 milliamp hours, it's good to have the solar as a backup, but actually 20,000, if it gets to sort of 13 or 14 on a few uses, that's pretty useful. That will, like I said, that will last you a week or so with no other power source at all. That's quite useful. That's pretty impressive. So there we go. It's the ZeroLemon 20,000 milliamp hour mobile battery with solar panel built into it. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.